Hello again, everyone, and welcome to your weekly sports report. I'm your host, the Phenom, Anis Melhem, and as always, I'm joined by
the big man, Sonny Dio.
And this time we've also got special guest.
Grind.
Let's just get right into it. Toronto Maple Leafs. Blockbuster. John Tavares comes home. And now they're already planning the parade on Yonge Street.
Fucking, they haven't stopped talking about it.
Of course they haven't stopped. He's the first superstar to actually decide to come to Toronto in years.
Yeah.
If you thought TSN was horrible before, just wait.
It was so annoying.
And now?
It was so annoying.
They're ready to crown the Leafs champions already with no defense.
Yeah, no defense.
With no defense.
It's still not the best center tandem in the league. I'm sorry.
It's not the best center tandem in the league,
actually,
but it's pretty damn good.
It's pretty damn good. But...
And, like it or not, it does put the Leafs up there.
Oh, yeah.
In the Eastern Conference.
And a big reason that is not just because of tandem, it's when you start looking at their third center who scored 30 goals, Nazem Kadri.
Exactly.
That's where it starts to look deep.
Exactly.
But the tandem, to be honest, with what you're going to have to sign Matthews for, I'd rather have Connor McDavid.
Well, they get 1 year.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
The deal that was made, $11 million, 7 years for John Tavares, just makes the Connor McDavid contract look that much better.
It honestly makes the Draisaitl contract look that much better too.
Of course.
Like, I looked into it, and obviously Draisaitl, he's at Connor McDavid with him. But if you look at their first full 3 seasons in the NHL, right? Tavares had 202 points in 243 games. That's a 0.83 point per game average.
Right.
You look at Draisaitl, he's had 198 points in 231 games, 0.86.
Not much better. Right.
Not much better. But then you look at the playoffs, Tavares had 12 points in 24 playoff games. Leon Draisaitl had 19 and 13. He beasted in the playoffs without Connor McDavid.
But no, Connor McDavid was playing.
No, I mean without being on the same line.
But
he's playing. I understand that, but you still have to perform, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
But he was getting the matchups.
He also had
100%, but he took advantage.
He also had that 6-point game in the playoffs.
5.
I think it was 5 game.
5 points.
So that was the outlier.
Best game ever.
But I think that the big thing about this move is how the Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl, they have that flexibility of moving Draisaitl.
Yeah, like you
I
guys
think
said,
the same thing with the Leafs, right?
Yeah,
just flexibility.
Oh yeah, you can move Matthews to the
but
win.
those contracts do start looking. I guess that's part of the cap going up too, right?
Of course.
It's going to inflate all salaries. And it's true. It's just like when Nuge, Taylor Hall, Eberle were signed. At first, everybody, that's a lot to give these young guys. But as the cap went up, the salaries went up, the deals turned out to be great.
That's $6 million for Taylor Hall. Looks pretty good right about now, doesn't it?
3 more years still?
No, I think it's just 2.
Still.
When you sign these big guys, they set their market for when they're free agents in their year, right?
For sure.
So the market's there, so that's set. So now Tavares set his market. And now it's just going to go up and up, and then the contracts are going to get better and better.
Outside of Toronto, getting their star. It just seems like the first time in a long time that I can remember, there's been a superstar who's done the free agency process, who's took it in the NHL. It was like a basketball player taking the meetings, being sold on something, right?
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Stamkos did that, right?
No, Stamkos stayed home though. Right?
Yeah,
but he decided 4 days before July 1st that he was going to stay home. Yeah.
The other one, you're right. I mean, he actually met with other teams. There was a lot of speculation. He was going to go to Dallas. There was a lot of speculation. He was going to go to San Jose. In fact, and we all know this, he turned down more money in San Jose. San Jose offered him $13 million. They wanted to make him the highest paid player in the National Hockey League. That's making a statement if you're the San Jose Sharks because you're in the same division.
Yeah.
As Connor McDavid.
But that's coming from the Toronto media, too, who wants to make it seem even more unreal that he passed up $2 million more in California to come to Toronto.
$14 million more over the length of the contract.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It is. But I think there's a little masala thrown on it, too.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly, but at the end of the
day...
day...
Darren Drago was pushing that right away. He mentioned that 18 times.
Toronto has something San Jose doesn't. That's home, right? That's John Tavares' home.
Yeah. That's that picture that Tavares tweeted out of him and Toronto Maple Leaf bed sheets and jammies.
Yeah.
And, look at me, I'm coming home.
And
right?
at this point, maybe it's possibly a better situation, too. They have young guys. They have a star number 2.
Oh, it is a better situation than New York for sure.
No, I think
No,
he made a
like,
better
uh,
situation.
Oh, the
in
San Jose. Yeah, San
San Jose
Jose
is a bit creeping up a little older. You
it's
see
a short term. Short term. This is definitely throughout the contract. The Leafs should be a competitive team.
And notice this: as soon as the San Jose Sharks got spurned and did not get John Tavares, they turned around and signed Joe Thornton to $5 million 1 year.
Yeah, but they were saying that the word was they're planning to re-sign him anyways, but he was waiting to see what Tavares is going to make, and then he would adjust because
Right.
for him it's not about the dollar, right?
Yeah, it's just he wants to play on the Sharks.
He wants to stay there. They're still a competitive team. They would have been a contender with
So
Tavares.
speaking of someone from an old tandem, Marlowe has 1 year left on his contract. As soon as Marlowe's gone, that money is going to Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
But they still have Nylander and they still have
Marner.
Marner to sign. I mean, what's going to happen there? Because like Kyle Dubas came out and said, "We're keeping everybody."
Yeah.
Okay, so who the fuck are you going to sign on D?
Exactly. And the thing is, Marner's like, I don't think Leaf fans understand. He's not signing for $6 million. He's getting Draisaitl
No,
money.
he wants 8.
Yeah, and
Easily, he'll want it.
at minimum, he's going to
Yeah.
get that.
The $8 million is the new $6 million.
Yeah,
Like,
basically,
more or less,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's true. You basically have to move Nylander. Because you're right. How are you going to add on defense? The defense still isn't that great.
I think they have to move him because you got to focus on your D. You got to build an all-around team. Somebody has to get the centers.
Maybe that's what they are so excited about in Toronto. Like their goaltending has been great. So as long as Freddie Anderson can keep it up, maybe the defense just has to be middling. You know what I mean? Just sort of keep themselves in the game. And you're going to hear this from analyst after analyst over and over again. Well, the Leafs are going to have the puck all the time anyway. So what difference does it make if their defense isn't that great? Which is really the stupidest
It is.
thing
It is.
that I've heard in so long. Like, they're all creaming their pants so much over John Tavares signing in Toronto that they're forgetting the fact that, oh, yeah, the Oilers had great offense, but they didn't have no defense.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't go anywhere.
They're forgetting the fact that the Pittsburgh Penguins are in the East, right? They're forgetting the fact that Washington is still in the East. They're forgetting the fact that Tampa's in the East.
Okay. Pittsburgh, who just signed Jack Johnson to bolster their
Improve
defense.
their defense.
Right.
A team that just won back-to-back 2 years ago, right?
Washington, who just re-upped John Carlson, so you know
Brought
they're still going to
everybody
be
back,
competing.
yeah.
Yeah, basically, I think that they might still try to make a pitch for Brooks Orpik. I don't know. He might come back. He might not.
They've been saying they're interested both sides, but they signed.
Well, I can
Kempny-
see why Orpik would be interested
Oh, yeah.
in going back, but you're right. They signed Kempney.
Kempny, yeah. They basically brought the core back. They basically have the same core, and they have Kuznetsov.
Yeah.
They have Backstrom. They
Right.
have center depth too.
Yeah.
So this isn't the NBA where you have the Golden State Warriors situation because they tried to on TSN. They were trying to compare it to Golden State for a second. I was like, "Are you stupid?" I'm like,
No, they have no championships.
"They have no
out of
championships,
any of those guys.
and they're not guaranteed to win any championships."
No, they're not.
Like,
There's,
go ahead.
I mean, you still have Boston.
Yeah.
That's an amazing team.
Boston's
and
another
I mean,
one, yeah.
Tampa's still in the mix for Eric Carlson. I mean,
Oh, if they
you
get
know,
Eric Carlson,
that's a Stanley Cup.
yeah, that just burst Toronto's bubble right there.
You know, you still have Mrazek signs in
Philly.
Philadelphia. So did James Van
Van
Riemsdyk.
Riemsdyk.
So there's reason to believe that the Philadelphia Flyers are trying to get better. Look, the Flyers had 2 of the top 3 assist leaders in the game.
Over 100 points, man.
In Claude Giroux and Jakub Voracek. They need a finisher. Well, guess what James Van Riemsdyk is? He's a finisher.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Ilya Kovalchuk, which could have been available.
But-
And I'm surprised that maybe they're not making a pitch for lesser money for Rick Nash to maybe get him in there. But at the end of the day, because I think Nash fits the Philadelphia Flyers mold. But again, this guy may or may not come back. But to get
Yeah.
Van Riemsdyk, that's a hell of a catch. Fella Hall.
They got 2 young D-men, Gostisbehere and Provorov.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you have Carolina who's improving too, who I'll mention later. But I think going back to your, we're always going to have the puck. If there's 31 teams in the NHL, every guy, he's an NHL player for a reason, right? Like, you need defense.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
If you think Morgan Riley is going to be your anchor, I could see them putting in pieces to fit in. Like, you have Zaitsev, Gardner, who had a career year last year. I don't think they need that number one guy. Like, I don't think the Oilers need a number one guy. But you got to work on that defense.
But that's the point. They mentioned how the Oilers need defense. Toronto is pretty much the same situation. They need defense still. They have 2-star centers. We have 2-star centers. Definitely have better players around those 2-star centers up front.
Yeah, they do.
But it seems like they're just forgetting that.
Their winger depth is better than ours.
It is.
Right?
Is. And
but
even,
given the fact that their winger depth is better and they have very, very strong centers down the middle, fantastic for Toronto. Gardner isn't a number one. I mean, he's a third pairing guy, right?
And in the playoffs, he looked even worse than that.
Forget about Gardner. Zaitsev is signed to a big contract.
And he's not that great either.
I don't think he is a top pairing guy. Yeah. I think he's a second pairing, number 3, who could fill in at a number 2.
Yeah.
And Morgan Riley is good.
Yeah.
But Morgan Riley is not fucking Drew Doughty.
He's not.
But do you think they need a Drew Doughty to win the Stanley Cup?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. But here's the thing. Freddie Anderson is a good goalie. You know what I mean? But if Freddie Anderson falters, they have nothing.
And he did a bit in the playoffs. He wasn't the same as he was in the regular season in the playoffs.
But the Leafs, they're still a young team. I think they're going to get. They're obviously going to be better next year, but they're going to have more playoff experience.
Right.
And
so those, but Drew Doughty.
They don't need exactly Drew Doughty.
Yeah,
There's only a few, but they need a number one.
Like he's an
defenseman.
anchor, right? He's like a number one defenseman. Do they need a guy like let's say Eric Carlson?
Because I agree with you. I don't think Zaitsev is a top pairing defenseman.
So let's move to Carolina, who got themselves a top pairing defenseman in Hamilton, right? And then went out and signed Calvin DeHaan, to bolster their defense further, right? And then actually they're the ones that got Peter Mrazek, not Philadelphia. So scratch out what we said about Philly. Philly still needs a goalie.
So they got a pretty good tandem there with Darling and Mrazek now.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to they're going to compete for a playoff spot now.
Yeah, they're not a cup contender.
No.
The East is just very
they're not a
strong
cup contender.
Point, yeah.
But the point is that the Leafs have elevated their club.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They have elevated their club, but there's a lot of teams in the East that still have a better all balance throughout their lineup, and are more of a cup threat. You don't have a Victor Hedman back there in Toronto.
You don't have Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Phil Kessel.
We know how the NHL playoffs work. Like, you can be a top seed, but in the first round matchup, you can play a strong divisional opponent, right?
Right.
Like, it's not a cakewalk to go into the semis or conference finals, right? Like, just getting into the playoffs is a task in itself.
Yeah, hockey's completely different than every other sport. It's a grind and a war.
There's no guarantee that
you can't walk through anything.
No. Well, and it is a complete, it's parity, right?
Yeah.
So anybody can end up making, I mean, we just saw a season where an expansion team made it all the way to the cup final.
Exactly.
So that lets you know all you need to.
And they had Peter Stastny now, too. They did lose a couple of key players.
Yes, they pick up Peter Stastny.
Yeah.
And they lost James Neal, who went to Calgary. But let's talk about the Vegas Golden Knights for a second. They pick up Peter Stastny. I think that's an upgrade anyway on Neal. So
it is.
And they're still swimming in cap space.
And it's a center. You always want a center, right?
Yeah.
They definitely, I wouldn't say center was their strongest position.
They also lost David Perron.
They lost David Perron.
Who went back to St. Louis.
He signed a 4-year deal. What was it, $4 million?
Yeah.
I would have let him go, man.
Yeah, of course you would let him go.
You get out of here, Perron. No one needs you.
Vegas, and you can see what they're doing. They're not looking at this past year as we're going to be there every year. They're looking for the future.
They're still building.
Yeah. Like whatever happened last year was a success, but they know they got a plan for at least 3 to 5 years from now.
But having said that, though, they weren't very busy on free agent frenzy to go out and get themselves another guy. Stasi's a big land. I mean, that's an upgrade on virtually anybody that
he's
they
their
have
number
on
one
team.
center.
Yeah. So, and if you are Stasi, there's reason to believe that you're with a team that over the course of that contract that you can win, or you can go deep, or make a splash.
Because you're right, they do have a shitload of cap space.
Because they have a shitload of cap space.
And
they can always sign somebody else.
And they have so many draft picks, too.
Which they can trade.
Yeah. They collected those picks last year.
You can see they're building to the draft. They're looking for a splash like Eric Carlson, but they're not gonna show their hand. They're gonna be patient.
Well, no one to hold them, right?
Well, that's Vegas for a reason. Right?
Exactly. Having said that, James Neal leaves the Vegas Golden Knights, goes to Calgary. The Flames, after getting themselves Hannafin and Lindholm, now have landed themselves a 30-goal scorer. Someone who, and this is what Calgary did is what I wanted Edmonton to do.
Yeah.
Is you sign a guy who's established as, a goal scorer to give some time for your young wingers to develop a little bit more, get some easier matchups, and maybe get themselves some confidence.
And this is what we talked about a few weeks ago. Calgary goes out and gets what they need.
Yeah, they do.
They don't draft. They get what they need.
Well, because the difference is they're about as bad as Edmonton is when it comes to developing players.
Yeah.
Okay? They're about as bad as we are. They're a little bit better, but still, in that same kind of range.
Yeah.
The difference is they'll throw away those draft picks and get roster players now.
Yeah.
Which honestly, until we start developing players down the pipeline, I just believe that's what we should be doing. Now, mind you, I think we got lucky in the whole draft where we got Evan Bouchard, but still, what the hell has Evan Bouchard done, right?
Yeah.
We don't, nothing as of right now.
Yeah,
he just got drafted.
Yeah. We still got to wait for him.
Some of the other guys over the last few years that we've drafted, we're looking at Keegan Lowe and Ethan Bear fighting for that seventh defenseman role on our team. And I'm not confident that they're going to get a lot better than that either.
Yeah.
You can see Calgary, how they evaluate their players. They're looking to buy or sell when at the proper value. They're trying to sell off their players at the highest value.
Yeah.
And then get return. Where the Oilers, they hold on to their players for a little bit too long, where their value decreases and they don't get proper return for it.
Or they trade too early.
Yeah.
Because let's look at the two players they signed. They let them go when people were saying, keep these guys. They made trades for them that essentially didn't help the franchise at all. And now, after they developed with different organizations, they're back in the fold.
Brodziak and Tobias Reeder.
Which I do like both signings. I like
both originally Oiler draft picks.
Yeah.
I think it gives team
Come back.
some flexibility with those two.
Okay, see, but here's the thing. Those two signings are good. They're depth signings. They're not gonna dramatically change or alter Edmonton's fortunes in the season. But Brodziak's a good penalty killer.
Yeah.
And Tobias Reeder, I think, is pretty decent on the power play.
Power play, and he's a good penalty killer.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about Tobias Reeder, I think he's going to get an opportunity with Draisaitl. And this is
the German connection.
Yeah. He scored 12 goals last year. The year before that, he scored 16. He's never actually played with a real center. He hasn't. I think potentially, you can see him hit that 20-goal mark.
I see him going up and down the lineup. He's not going to be on that Draisaitl wing for the whole year.
I think he'll start the year. He'll be given the opportunity because Kajula hasn't earned it there.
No, we're starting Ty Ratty.
I think Ty Ratty's going to play with Connor. I think they got...
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I'm talking about Ryder they have with Draisaitl. Because Draisaitl was one of the big reasons he signed.
So where does Puljujärvi play? And
but Tobias can play left or right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can play either way. So they have options there.
So they can move Lucic down and put him at Strome. And they have somebody on the second line on the left
side. They
can
mix him out. But what I'm saying is he scored 16 and 12 without a center. I believe he's going to get an opportunity with a very good center. I think there is upside there for him to reach that 20-goal mark.
Yeah. And if he does, that'll also, being such good friends with Draisaitl, that'll make both guys very happy to be here.
But that's part of the reason he signed. Draisaitl was in constant... They said he turned down a 3-year deal with Vancouver.
For a 1-year deal with Edmonton.
Draisaitl was in constant contact with him. And part of it is... You got to think he's looking at those two centers, right?
Yeah.
If he has a good year, he's getting a better deal.
Yeah. See what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little
he's betting on himself.
Because he did fall off from that 16-goal season 2 years ago where he was looking like he could be a 20-goal scorer. Last year he got 12, but he struggled at certain points. So he's looking for a bounce back as well.
That's Dry telling his buddy that
I got you.
I'll feed you the puck. Just put it in the net, and you'll get more money next season.
I'm telling you, Leon Draisaitl, they said he was dealing with those concussion symptoms all year.
Yeah.
I think Leon Draisaitl is going to have a massive season this year.
It doesn't hurt that the Oilers, I believe they play in Germany this year too. So.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They start.
That really helps too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing Jersey.
Yeah.
Vancouver signs Jay Beagle.
You know what Vancouver reminds me of? The Edmonton Oilers when they were signing players like Eric Belanger and stuff during our rebuild.
Right.
When they had no business signing those players.
Right.
It's like
That's
the
what
New-
Vancouver
it's like the
reminds
New
me
York
of.
Knicks.
I think
He
in
signed
this case,
Roussel as well.
Look, here's what Vancouver's doing. They know they're gonna be shit. Okay, they have to do something
Yeah.
so that their fans have a reason to buy tickets.
Yeah.
Okay.
But are these guys reasons to buy tickets?
No, but that's
Like they give them pretty good terms, man.
it's saying that hey, we're acquiring veteran players.
We're gonna fight.
Right.
We're gonna
We're gonna try. You know what I mean? They know
We're
where
not
they
gonna
are.
be an easy beat.
It's what the
That's
Oilers did a few years ago before they got McDavid. They were selling hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're selling to the fans that
Well,
they're
I
gonna
mean,
fight, maybe
you know,
sneak into the playoffs.
They got a couple of good players on the team right now, some young guys, right?
Yeah, Boser,
Yeah.
And they want guys like Beagle.
Horvat.
They guys want guys like Beagle to come in and teach guys like
That's another part. You always bring in, grizzled vets that can pass on knowledge to young guys, right? Like, that's one thing that Brodziak was saying when he was having an interview right away. He's like, I've been on a team with a Paul Stastny.
Yeah.
I've been on a team with a Mikko Koivu, who are great face-off guys,
Yeah.
who I've listened to when they said, do this on a face-off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think he's around 58% career-wise, right? That's something the Oilers haven't had.
Right.
And you're right. He's the veteran we're bringing in.
Yeah.
He's a guy.
Yeah.
And he's
Brodziak is the same as Jay Beagle
Yeah.
going to Calgary,
Yeah.
right? Or Vancouver, rather. It's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same kind of thing. You're there to sort of teach them, bring the younger guys along. You get a couple of seasons, and for Brodziak, this is home anyway. right?
And he's still playing in the bottom six all year.
Yeah.
He's put 33 points up, 10 goals, which is not bad for your fourth line center.
kind of reminds me of a Matt Hendricks. How he came
I think
in.
that's what they're trying to do. They had to replace Hendricks because
Yeah.
he actually missed them.
They
right?
replaced, but
They missed him in the locker
They
room.
actually did better in the sense that they replaced him with the guy that's going to play every day. Hendricks wasn't playing. He wasn't a guy you could put in every day.
Right.
Brodziak
Right.
is.
Yeah.
He'll be our number one penalty killer, the center, right? He's going to be the center on the fourth line, and it allows JJ to play on the wing, which I think JJ will be more effective.
So another guy that there was rumblings that they might try to get him. There was rumblings that they might try to get him when he was still in Arizona. There was rumblings that they might try to sign him as a free agent. Was Anthony Duclair signs a 1 year $600,000+ with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
It's $650,
$650.
Yeah.
This is a guy that we could have used.
and it's affordable contract. We could have signed him.
We
even
totally
with the other
could have
two. Yeah.
used this guy. And he would have been able, we could plug him in anywhere in the lineup, whether
Just
it's
gives you
bottom
more
six
depth
or
on
top
the
six.
wings.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm a believer that when you have a guy like Puljujarvi who's struggling to adapt and is teetering on, could end up becoming a serviceable player, could end up becoming a great player, could end up being a bust. When a guy's teetering in that sort of range, give him time. Plug in a guy that you can bring in for cheap, who's an established NHLer, on a cheap contract, like an Anthony Duclair, who has the ability to play up the lineup,
Yeah.
and also has the ability to play down the lineup if your young guys could get better, like Yamamoto or Puljujarvi can actually take that next step.
And there's honestly no risk with the contract he signed. There's
No,
no
there
risk
isn't.
involved.
No risk at all with a 1 year contract.
Yeah,
and if you end up liking him and maybe not Aho,
Yeah.
right? Then get rid of Aho.
Yeah.
Like, so what?
Yeah.
Like that's what you're doing essentially, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I thought that was someone that the Oilers could have gone after. They could even paid him $7 if that would have enticed them to come here instead of
Yeah.
going to
Give him
Columbus.
$1 million even, fine. Take $1 million.
Could
still-
you see him impede Puljujarvi's progress, or give him more competition to get better?
Give him more competition to get better. At the end of the day, I'm not signing this guy or that for Puljujarvi. I'm signing this guy to make my team better.
Exactly.
You
need competition. You need competition.
Yeah.
Plus,
exactly.
what if a guy like Duclair comes in here and gets on the other side of the wing with with a McDavid or gets on the other side of the wing with a Draisaitl and lights it up.
Because we know in Arizona the situation wasn't the greatest, right?
Right.
It's a bit of a mess. He went to Chicago. It's hard to fit in with that team in that short of a
time frame,
Yeah.
especially when they were missing the playoffs, right? So
that wasn't like a great situation. He can go to a team like he could have came to the Edmonton Oilers, vying for a playoff spot.
For
knowing
me,
they
it
have to
makes
prove
me think
themselves.
they didn't even talk to him.
you never know. Yeah,
Because
maybe they did.
Honestly,
Maybe they
man,
did.
if you're going to sign 1 year, $650K, I'm pretty sure
You're not getting many offers.
many offers, and I'm pretty sure if the Oilers offered him a deal, he would have looked at Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and been like, okay, maybe I have a chance to play with these guys.
6 years after he was drafted first overall, Neil Yakupov gets signed by CSKA Moscow. He's out. He's into the KHL.
I think we've known for the last few years eventually going to go down this road.
It was going to happen. I think
Yeah.
some people were saying maybe give him a minimum contract, one year, see what he does.
Did he do that with the Blues or like?
No, I think the Blues gave him a couple mil.
Yeah. You know what?
He was with Colorado last year,
He's a good kid, at
and they
least.
gave him. You
He
know,
loves
it's
the
sad.
game.
It's
Yeah.
sad. It's
But you
sad
know
to
what?
see. You know,
You can say we did whatever, it was a bust, but if you go back and look at it, Bob McKenzie, all these guys, they all have him ranked number one.
but it wasn't even just that. I mean, just go down that draft.
It wasn't a very good draft.
It wasn't a very good draft. You
I
know?
think Lindholm was probably
Sometimes
the
you
best
just
player
look at
on
the
this
consensus pick and like that's what you gotta draft, right? Like he was a consensus pick. That's who you draft. You're not gonna go team need for the number one pick. It's a best player available. That's
At that point, that's the number one pick. You got
Because
to go. with what
the
you gotta
Oilers were
go.
debating between him and Ryan Murray.
Yeah.
Ryan Murray's not a top four defenseman right now.
I just wanted to mention it. I don't want to rehash the 2012
Another interesting move.
the 2012 draft. I mean,
and this was
whatever.
a player I wanted the Oilers sign, and they did say they were actually involved with him till the end,
Yeah.
which still makes me believe that the Oilers are trying to move some cash out. They believe they can. They Grabner signed with Arizona.
I was just going to mention that actually. That was the
3.5
next.
mil.
Yeah,
that was
that was
the
the
guy
next.
I think
That was the next thing I was going to move into.
And they said even Bob Stauffer even tweeted that the Oilers were in there till the end. So it makes me
Yeah.
still believe that they're trying to move up salary, or they think they can move up salary.
Yeah, but if they move out salary for who? Grabner's gone,
Yeah,
right?
I
so,
think.
what are they going to try to get Maroon back?
I honestly think they are. Yeah.
that was kind of the plan. They wanted to ship
He
him out,
sold
but
his house here.
He was interested in coming back though. That's what he said.
But they said he was trying to buy a bigger house.
Well,
Money.
maybe. Now, if they sign him to a new deal, he'll have the money to buy that new house.
Dude, why wouldn't he be signed right now?
I don't know. You know what? That's
Maybe
a
he's
good
waiting
question.
on something, because I'm pretty sure he would have been signed right now.
That's a good question. There's a lot of teams that could use a guy like
I'm
Patrick
sure
Maroon.
he has suitors.
But you saw like a little bit of the drop off last year, and then he got traded. I don't think was he that great in New Jersey. Like, is there a market for him right now?
No, there's always a market because you're talking about a guy who put up 27 goals. Yes. It was with Connor McDavid, but let's call him a 20 goal scorer somewhere else. Okay, let's call him a 15 goal scorer on your bottom
Well,
six.
he got 17 last year still.
You know,
right?
call him a 15 goal scorer on your bottom six. Yeah, you throw a couple million at the guy. You know what I mean? He's a big body in the lineup, and he uses it. He plays a physical game. I don't see any reason not to take this guy, especially in the Western Conference.
Maybe he's just being patient because maybe he's getting offers. He's trying to
Especially, let's just say somehow you can move out Lucas's contract, right? Say there's a way to do it, and you replace that with Maroon. You're upgrading your roster, and probably for less, right?
Well, I'd still say Lucci's better,
I don't know.
but
about
like
that.
money wise, it helps. Like Lucci's gonna have a better year next year. Like
Then
He would.
Maroon, or
well,
just
from last
he's
year
gonna
he had,
improve, yeah.
But if you're looking at like money, yeah, you'd probably
Exactly.
have
That's
cheap.
part of it, though.
Yeah.
It'd be less, right? It'd be less money.
Barry Trotz signs a 4-year deal or 5-year deal with the
Oh, Barry.
New York Islanders in hopes of enticing John Tavares to stay in New York. Obviously, that didn't work. So instead, they went out and got Robin Leonard, who was no longer welcome in Buffalo anyway. They didn't want him anymore.
Yeah,
How bad are the Islanders going to be next season?
it's looking pretty thin. Like, they lost DeHaan too. That's a big loss.
They didn't have defense to start with, and then they lost.
That's probably their best defender.
They're in a rebuild. They're trying to get Barzal to be their number one center.
Oh, they're in a complete rebuild. I mean,
Yeah.
Barzal, look, that's good timing because Barzal is a rookie,
Yeah.
and you just
Rookie
ended
of
up,
the year. You can still sell him.
but also, they just picked up, they just picked up Dobson and Wallstrom in the draft. They still have Jordan Eberle. Yay.
Yeah, if he's...
Poor Jordan Eberle.
he's on last year's contract. He's probably moved out by the deadline too.
Yeah, probably. They
Yeah.
could probably get some picks for him or something if they don't move him out this summer.
I wonder what the Oilers would pay for him now.
Eberle? Not $6 million.
No, I mean...
Not $6 million.
assets-wise.
Send them back Strome.
Yeah, make a deal. We'll give you... That's the thing. Say they did that, they'd have to throw a pick in with Strome, which we didn't get.
I actually see a guy like Jordan Eberle ending up in San Jose.
That makes a lot of sense.
I can really see him going
Good
there.
fit.
Yeah.
Good fit.
Or maybe in Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas seems like they're
You know,
involved on everyone.
He'll
Yeah.
end up a team where they can plug him in a top six with a good center, just to push them over the top, right?
That's why I think Dallas is a
Yeah,
good
Dallas.
fit for him.
And Dallas is obviously trying to add. They're in on everyone. They were in on Tavares. They're in on Carlson. They're in on everyone. They're big game shopping.
They are big games because they need that guy. They need somebody else.
Actually, it's been the same teams in on everybody. Tampa's in there for both guys.
Because these teams have assets.
Vegas is in there for Carlson. I don't think Vegas is going to end up pulling that one off. But still, it seems as though now the needle's pointing towards Tampa.
The Tampa one's interesting.
It was pointing towards Dallas yesterday, though. So
It's
who knows?
back and forth, but I think Tampa needs to get a third team involved. But they're trying to
get some salary.
Yeah,
That's what
they're
they're
trying to
saying.
ship out
Yeah.
Callahan.
Even if they do that, get a third team involved, ship out some salary, you can make this deal work in any number of ways. Even if they get Carlson, Dallas's problems aren't over. They still need depth. They have Bishop. He's good.
Didn't have the best year last year, though.
He didn't have the best year last year. I mean, like I said, Bishop is good.
Yeah.
He's not.
He is good.
He's not
but
Vasilevsky.
he also was playing against a way stronger defense in Tampa as well.
Of course.
Yeah. So,
Of course. But Vasilevsky looked great.
oh yeah.
And that's the thing. I think the rumor is they're offering Sergachev and
Tyler
Johnson,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, I think Johnson's a no move.
Whatever.
Dude,
Then you move on. You send somebody else, or you throw some draft picks in there. I mean, if I am Steve Yzerman, I look at Pierre Dorion and say, "What do you need? Let's get this done."
Yeah. You have Hedman and Carlson.
The time is now for Tampa, right? You gotta pull. You got unload. You get Carlson.
Eric Carlson in Tampa equals Stanley Cup. Period.
Oh yeah. It's their
If you
number
want it,
one
you gotta go
favorite
get
for
it.
sure.
They've got to go get it. Calgary goes and gets it. Toronto went and got it. If you're Tampa, go and get it.
I think they will. I think they will go and get it. It seems like it's getting closer. And honestly, man, even for Ottawa, Sergachev, because you're not going to win that deal. It's just very hard to win that deal.
No, but at least you get yourself
yeah.
a
A young
defenseman.
defenseman who is going to be really, really good. Sergachev
Yeah.
is a good get.
Yeah, it's good, but you have to insist on some draft picks to come back to.
And I'm sure Stevie will.
or some of their good young, someone that's a good player but also a little bit still young.
If you're in Ottawa's position, you gotta ask for the farm. You
Yeah.
know that Tampa wants a Stanley Cup, and they'll do anything for it.
And that's why you've given teams the ability to negotiate with Carlson to get that term on the sign and trade.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a huge thing to end up getting an
maximizes
8-year,
the value.
Do you think-
get the 8-year deal, right?
Yeah.
How would Carlson work with like re-signing? Would they?
He would re-sign with Ottawa and then
And
get
then
traded.
sign and trade.
And like that Tampa has like all the
Yeah, Tampa would then have him for 9 years.
And I'm
but
sure-
they-
Or
they have
whoever.
the cap space?
I'm sure once
Well, that would be the reason why they would trade out somebody You know,
Yeah,
but
if they're trying to open up spaces for
look,
that,
they don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
They gotta I think after next season, Vasilevsky's contract is up.
Kucherov, they have to re-sign right now.
Kucherov, they'll have to re-sign. I mean, like I'm saying, they're gonna get to the position where they're gonna have to send out a bunch of dollars on guys, and then they're gonna have to make decisions on
some
who they
big
keep.
names, yeah.
And this is even if they don't get Carlson, right?
Yeah.
This is even if they don't get him. So, you know, they have some decisions to make there. So their time is now. They have to win.
They re-signed McDonough, right?
They did. That was a big deal to re-sign McDonough.
Yeah,
you know?
Long term.
I forgot McDonough's already on that defense too.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Vasilevsky,
Strawman.
man. Jesus Christ, man.
Like they're
Toronto, your dreams are done if they get Carlson. Put a hole in that right away.
Oh yeah, even if they don't,
Even if
they're
they don't, I still would take Tampa.
I'm still looking at Tampa and saying they're
Yeah.
probably going to win the division.
Oh hell yeah, I'd still take Tampa, man. McDonough and Hedman on D. They have the centers too, man, and they have the goaltending.
That speed on that team, like,
Yeah.
like they're way more balanced than Toronto is.
Kucherov is better than Tavares.
I said that last week. I believe Kucherov, but he is better than
Yeah.
Tavares. 100-point point scorer.
I mean, they're still sick.
They are
Stamkos,
Yeah.
another healthy season out of Stamkos.
And you gotta trust their management. They're gonna bring in guys. They're gonna bring in bottom six guys. And they're gonna come out with a good season, right? Like that's how the Eisman works.
What bottom six guy wouldn't want to play there?
Yeah,
You have all that, and it's in Tampa.
yeah. The
It's-
beautiful
it's,
weather
It's
on
a great
top.
situation.
It is.
So I definitely think Stevie Y will pay the price as long as Carlson's extending. I think he knows I got to get this done. This is Eric motherfucking Carlson.
As mentioned a little bit earlier, the St. Louis Blues brought back David Perron on a 4-year deal. They also went out and got Tyler Bozak, who was not brought back to the Maple Leafs, obviously. After bringing in a guy like Tavares, you're not going to get Bozak back. Re-signed Robbie Fabry.
Yeah, off that ACL injury.
Yeah. And they got themselves a goaltender, Chad Johnson. And oh yeah, they made a trade.
A big trade.
Remember the trade?
It was a pretty big trade.
The St. Louis Blues traded Patrick Berglund, Vladimir Sobotka, Tage Thompson, the 2019 first-round draft pick, and the 2021 second-round draft pick for one Ryan O'Reilly.
It's a big move, man. It's a big move.
You want to replace Peter Stastny? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you O'Reilly.
Honestly, they might upgrade on Peter Stastny here. Ryan O'Reilly's a good fucking hockey player.
Now, adding Tarasenko to his wing, and Bozak is probably your second line center.
Yeah.
You got some pretty good depth there.
Yeah, they're
We got Braden Shen.
You got Braden Shen,
He's a center, right?
and you have a strong defense.
and you have a strong defense that can move the puck.
Yeah. A
That
big
can move the puck.
big question is going to be Jake Allen though.
Right.
Can he bounce back?
Right.
Because last year, remember, they started off on a tear. They were first in the league for a long time. But then Jake Allen's game went down, and so did theirs. And that's the thing, he's going to have to perform. He's going to have to be a relied upon starting goalie. Because they had Hutton last year too. It's not like they didn't have a backup. They had a very good backup who people are saying is a starter this year.
Shots fired in the Central Division
Yeah.
by the St. Louis Blues. They're showing everybody that they're serious about getting back into the mix.
And I think a lot of people thought they might go the other way. Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially after they sold, like you said, they sold Peter Stastny at the deadline.
Yep.
It was you would have assumed they're going the other way, but no, they're right back into the mix
We
in an already tough Central Division.
We talked about the Leafs center depth. They have no slouches for themselves. They have O'Reilly, Shen, Bozak. You have three guys two good two-way centers.
Toronto's center depth is way
Yeah,
better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Like Blues won't be easy to play against.
No.
They never-
That's
they
what
never
it
have
is.
been.
Yeah.
They're just the team that's not easy to play against because they got a bunch of two-way centers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they have strong defense.
So you have
Physical
like,
centers
so you're
too,
playing if you're playing
Exactly.
if you're playing the matchups like how today's NHL is, it's all about the matchup.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can put out 2 or 3 centers against any number one center, and they'll.
And again, they have a strong defense.
Yeah.
And then you always have a game breaker like Tarasenko out there.
Yeah.
You know, this is St. Louis's. I guess this is their move to get back in the thick of things. This is their move to go up the standings. I mean, you've got basically a better version of themselves down the road in Nashville. You know, that won the President's Trophy last year, and I mean, you got to keep pace. Chicago,
And they got Winnipeg Jets right beside
and they got the Winnipeg Jets
It's a
right there
very
too.
tough division.
That
Another
division's
team.
really up in the air. Because
Yeah.
You have, I think Nashville's still the class of the division.
And you know the funny part about it is, I feel like it's hard to count out Minnesota. You know, I mean,
never
I
can.
understand they're the team that kind of hangs
It's
around.
the regular season team that comes to
Well, they
play.
made the
but,
playoffs.
but that's
They
what they.
still get into the playoffs.
That's what they do. They play. They get into the regular
But-
season, get into the playoffs.
What they really need
That's
is
it for them.
is a really good season from Zach Parise because he's been disappointing since he got
Yeah.
there. Suter's been good, but they need him healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and if he had been healthy in the playoffs, I mean, I still don't think they win that series, but
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Thing is, part of the reason they got into the playoffs is because St. Louis declined. Because Chicago declined.
True.
I see both getting themselves back in the playoff picture, and I think Minnesota would be the team that...
They'd be the
falls
odd team out. Yeah.
Same-
Because I don't think, like, you're right, Nashville could be the cream of the crop, but
Nashville,
could be
Winnipeg,
too. Them two, to me...
St. Louis.
Yeah.
And then so you guys are saying Chicago, but you're forgetting that Dallas is sitting there too,
Oh my God, we
also
forgot
trying to
about
get a little bit better and trying to get back into the
They're
thick of
big
things.
game
Like
hunting.
they're big game hunting,
Yeah.
right? And then what about those Colorado Avalanche? They had a pretty good fucking season too,
Made
right?
the playoffs last year.
So
Where are you guys with like St. Louis, Dallas, Chicago? Where with those teams like
you're getting 5 teams out of the Central. You're getting 3 teams out of the Pacific, and honestly, I think LA's back after getting Kovalchuk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
San Jose looks like they're pushing. I think Anaheim might be the team that's declining.
Yeah, I agree there.
You know, I mean, I don't expect much out of. I actually expect a big step back out of Vegas. I don't expect them to be a playoff team next year, personally.
I agree.
You know, I think everybody had a career year.
Yeah.
And much
Everything
like a
went
lot of those
right.
other teams, yeah, everything went right. I think things are they're gonna fall back down to earth. Maybe we're wrong. I mean, you
Fleury's
know,
34 years old. Man.
friggin' wrong about everything else.
Talking
Yeah.
about this is making me worry about the Oilers. Where do they stand in this loaded West?
The Flames are loading up in a way. I mean, they got worse in some ways. They got better in others. I don't see the Flames as a big threat, though. I'll be honest. Maybe a team that can threaten to make the playoffs,
Yeah.
but I don't see. They're not a threat.
No.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
You look at the Flames; they got younger, right? So pretty much less playoff experience. But
Yeah, but more depth. I mean, it
more
was a
depth,
depth
like,
move.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're not quite there yet with the additions. Maybe
is-
it takes maybe 1 year going to next year where they're more of a threat.
I agree. LA, San Jose, they're in the, and they're going to make the playoffs, but they're not that much far away.
No, I think the Pacific Division is going to be a grind
Wide
because you
open.
have all these teams that are sort of similar.
Yeah.
You know, either they're near the end of their time,
Yeah.
or they're at the beginning of it. So
Yeah.
there's no real dominant team in the division this year. I mean, the year that just finished, it was supposed to be that way, but the dominant team was Vegas. So assuming Vegas doesn't repeat the success that they had last year, because it's hard to fathom them doing it again. You know.
Yeah.
But if they don't, then it's a wide open division. Anybody and everybody can get in.
Oh yeah. It
3
is a
teams
wide-
though.
Yeah.
3 teams is my
Yeah,
expectation.
because the other divisions is stacked.
You can.
man.
I'm assuming one team is gonna just go up on top. They'll take away from the
Well,
other team.
it could be a dogfight the whole
any
year
team.
though.
It could be any team, but
It could be a dogfight
but
the whole year.
With the rest of the division, it's going to be a dogfight, like you said. Like it's not you just can't get yourself out of it too early. keep yourself in the season,
See,
and anything can happen under the year.
in regards to the Oilers, what if? And it's possible. It happens in the NHL. Players make impacts that younger. What if Kailer Yamamoto and even Puljujärvi, what if they step in this year and they become NHL players?
Nobody said that's not possible. It is
makes
totally
if they do, it just makes a huge difference.
massive.
Yeah. And honestly, I think Kailer Yamamoto is going to have a good year. I like his attitude. He looked really good at that camp. He was obviously levels above that group.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You know what I wanted to do is go back to Arizona for a second because we talked about Grabner going there, but we didn't mention the 8-year deal that Oliver Ekman-Larsson signed, and I realize he's re-signing in the team that he's with, and that's why we didn't really bring it up. But I mean, I believe that's part of the reason that Grabner went there because he feels that I've got Ekman-Larsson there for the long haul.
Yeah.
So
there's something.
there's that
building
anchor
around it.
right on the
You
defense.
have insurance.
But you know. What else do they have?
Not that much.
You know, Galchenyuk? I mean,
Yeah, I guess
that's who's going to feed you the puck?
Clayton
yeah.
Keller. I don't know.
I'm sure that's who he's going to play with, right? Because
Sure.
who else is he going to play with?
Sure.
Dylan Strome hasn't really shown anything yet.
Go there for the money. Well, like,
Yeah, okay. He went there for a paycheck, sure.
I'm sure that was the highest offer.
Likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, is that really a guy Arizona needed? Do you need that contract when you're in that?
I think you need anything and everything you can get if you're Arizona. But that's not... they're not going to compete. I don't see them as being a team that's going to turn heads.
No, I don't.
Because they got Michael Grabner and Galchenyuk. I don't see it. I see them spinning their wheels.
Yeah.
You know?
I get what you're saying, and I agree. I don't really see Arizona making much of an impact at all.
Okay. Montreal Canadiens announced that Shea Weber will be out for about 6 months after having surgery.
Yeah.
They didn't really do all of anything
Yeah.
since free agency. Where the hell do these guys go from here?
I would say to the
the
Jack
basement.
Hughes sweepstakes, but they still have Carey Price. And that's probably going to keep them higher, still low in standings, but higher than you want to be
If you're trying to get Jack Hughes.
trying to get Jack Hughes.
I think just
yeah.
outside of the top 3, maybe, which is just not good enough.
Yeah. Carey Price, still Carey Price. So,
Yeah, so the expectation is that you have, assuming a Carlson trade, a really, really, really weak team in Ottawa and another really weak team in Montreal.
Yeah.
The Islanders.
What the hell is Montreal?
No, well, the Islanders are in the other division. They're in,
Yeah, well,
they're
just
in
if
the-
you're looking at the
Well,
lottery in general.
I guess Duran's going to get the opportunity to be the guy.
I guess.
Like, yeah.
Finally, he wanted it, so
They
there you
signed
go.
Plekanec.
They got Plekanec back, yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
talk about Carey Price. I think Carey Price, you gotta knock him down a little bit with the Weber injury. Like, that defense gets weaker. Carey Price
It
is
does.
gonna.
It does.
There's
And
more
I'm
holes.
not saying they're going to be a playoff team. They're not. I'm just saying they won't be as low as they want to be to get Jack Hughes.
Because they have Carey
Yeah.
Price. And that's fine. You know what? Maybe they win the lottery, right? And
Yeah.
that's the
There's
thing.
always a chance.
There's always a chance that they, end up moving up like they did this year.
Yeah.
And land themselves something. I mean, they did get Kotkaniemi again. We're not expecting him to be. I'm not expecting him to be in the lineup.
He
Really,
shouldn't. I don't think he should.
The
Canadians aren't going anywhere.
exactly.
Why?
You might as well throw him back into the into
you might
juniors.
as well just give Duran his chance.
Yeah,
Like-
give Duran his chance and let Kotkaniemi play in the
Yeah.
Finnish Elite League or something like that in the KHL, whatever, and let him do his thing.
Yeah.
So reports are coming in right now that the Tampa Bay Lightning are really, really close to landing Erik Karlsson, and the Rangers may be involved in a 3-way deal. It's not a done deal yet, and this is coming in as we're recording this, so obviously by the time some of you guys hear this, the facts may be different, but that would probably be maybe the only other big deal.
It seems like eventually he's going to be a Tampa Bay Lightning. That's what it's seeming like.
Yeah, barring some other big moves somewhere along the line, that pretty much seems to be it as far as what happened over the last week or so, I'd say.
Usually after this week, obviously, this trade's going to be big, but there's usually a little break period.
We'll
Things
get
get a little
like a
quiet.
training camp start and teams have more of a bigger picture of what they're gonna look like. So right now it's just Carlson.
All right, sounds good. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll keep you updated. If we hear anything, see anything, tweet at us at report_weekly, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated as we can. Thanks for listening. Take care.
See ya. Peace.